Okay, it looks like we have a good amount of people, so we can go ahead and get started. I just would like to start at the beginning mentioning that this webinar itself is just for educational purposes. It's not meant as investment advice, nor is YCharts an advising party regarding any investment. So putting that out, as well as this will also be recorded. So you will get an email with the replay tomorrow. So the webinar itself is on integrating the Schwab into YCharts, Schwab portfolio into YCharts. So we just head to the next slide right here. I am co-hosting this webinar. My name is Lauren Schall. I am a customer success associate here at YCharts. And then we have a Charles Schwab person with us today. Chris, if you'd like to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Lauren. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining. My name is Chris Candela, and I'm part of Schwab's third-party integrations team. And real excited for you guys to see the YCharts integration. And we've been working with YCharts for a couple of years, starting out with our SSO services, single sign-on services, and now with direct Schwab Advisor Center data. And our integration program, or actually my role is working with vendors just like YCharts, so those are my clients. I help them understand what integrations Schwab has to offer, help them come up with an integration strategy, support their integration efforts. And our program, there's actually a couple of different ways that third-party platforms can integrate with Schwab Advisor Center. The first is called an API, Application Programming Interface, where data is directly shared from the platform. As I mentioned, we have single sign-on as well, where you can be working in a third-party platform and then be ushered over to Schwab Advisor Center without having to re-authenticate yourself. And then we also have trading integrations through fixed connections, and we work with hundreds of vendors also with just our flat daily data files as well. So there's a lot of different options in our integration program, and actually the menu of options is expanding even with the TD Ameritrade acquisition. We're incorporating a handful of the Veil features into Schwab Advisor Center, such as iReval. That's a great example of one. And we're also taking some of their integrations that we didn't have on the Schwab side and building those so that when all the TD Ameritrade accounts convert in September over Labor Day, there won't be any gap in integrations that advisors had with TD Ameritrade. Now, all that being said, our integrations are only as good as the vendors who implement it. And YCharts has just done a phenomenal job. So I'm going to go ahead. I'll turn it over to Lauren just to jump right in and start showing you that. And I'm going to drop my video and I'll come back on during the Q&A section. So Lauren, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you.
Thanks, Chris. So a few housekeeping items before we get started. We do have a Q&A feature, so any questions that you have, you can put in the Q&A box, and then during the Q&A session, we will go ahead and answer as many as we can. Also, if you have any questions that maybe come up after the webinar ends, feel free to reach out to your account manager, or you can also reach out at hello@ycharts.com. A few other things you can see on this screen is we do offer those who are custodians of Schwab get a 20% discount off their YCharts subscription. And then there is this little QR code in the upper right corner that you can scan for some more information. So on the agenda today, we're just going to be talking about YCharts and what the platform offers, going through the integration program with Schwab, and then setting up that integration and kind of seeing what can be built out on YCharts from that. So a little bit more about YCharts for those who are not familiar. We are an investment research platform, so we focus on researching different investments as well as client communication, so building out reports to present in any client meeting you might have. And how we do that oops. So on this slide here, you can see a few of the different options that YCharts offers. So a few of the key benefits that our users tend to have is significant time saving when researching and creating those client documents, AUM growth, retention, as well as better outcomes. And once again, that client satisfaction tends to be higher with those that have a YCharts subscription. So more on the tools themselves, as you can see, we have it broken down into a few different areas. The first one, most people starting out with that, research and analysis. So going into our screeners, our fund and stock screeners, as well as using our comp tables or time series to research different securities, see what's out there, see what's performing well. And then from there, typically the workflow is people find the different securities and then integrating that into a model portfolio. So the model portfolio itself is where the Schwab integration really shines and really comes into play. So creating that portfolio and then showing proposals to clients and having that client communication. So that's going to be our visuals, our fundamental charts, our PDF reports as well. And then from there, giving that information to clients, being able to compare their current portfolio, for example, to one that you might offer via our tear sheets, our side-by-side comparison reports. And then finally, to keep you up to date on all of your different portfolios, your different market updates, we offer the dashboard and alerts. So that's all going to be in one quick place that you can quickly see how investments themselves are doing. So I'll be touching on most of the tools that are featured on this slide. So let's go ahead and then get started with the demo right here. So when you first log on to YCharts, you'll have a page that looks like this. This is our dashboard itself. So like I said, this is where you will find the different market data. If you are looking at specific securities you want to keep an eye on, this is where you're going to be able to do it. So quickly just going through this, I have some major index performance data that is going to update intraday to kind of keep an eye on the market, as well as a few different dashboards or modules, apologies, on the S&P 500, how those securities are doing. I can actually even go into the data tab and see some of the returns. I can edit those metrics as well. And so as you can see, also adding scatter plots, we have the ability to create alerts in this section. So you can be alerted via email or just on the dashboard itself of when something occurs. So to set up the Schwab dashboard itself, what you'll want to do is go to support right here and then integrations. And in here, you can see all of the different integrations, including Schwab. So one great thing that we offer is we actually don't hold or keep any Schwab like client data. The only thing we store is the last four digits of the account number, but we don't keep any of that information on YCharts itself. So it's pretty secure. What you would want to do to activate this is click Manage. And then you would click on Activate, and from here it would bring you to the Schwab website to go in and log in from there. And you'll be able to tell that it has successfully integrated once this says active. So I've already gone in and activated this just to save time. So once this is activated, then I'm able to pull in those client accounts and create a portfolio. So to do that, you'll just head to the model portfolio tool. And once this loads, you'll want to head to the import holdings right here. And as you can see, I have Schwab listed right here. And then you'll be able to either search by the client or the account itself. So I'm not going to go ahead and do this just to save some time, but it's pretty easy search function. It pulls up all of the different options that you searched, and then from there, it's easy to go ahead and get that portfolio created. So once you've gone ahead and selected the accounts or the clients that you would like to import, it will then send you to the edit model portfolio page. So I've already gone ahead and imported this portfolio. As you can see, it only has the last 4 digits saved. And once on this screen, there's a few different changes you are able to make. So the first and probably most common one being that advisory fee. So you're able to change this from, I currently have it to never, but you can set it to monthly, quarterly, annually, and then add what that fee percentage is. You're also able to switch the benchmark up here. So default is currently S&P 500, which I'm happy with right now. And then changing, the rebalance frequency, you're also able to change the as of date, which has become pretty popular as well. So I can see that it has pulled these holdings in as dollar value, which is great. I don't have to go in and mess with any types of weights or anything. So once I'm happy with this, I can go ahead and click save, and then it will start to calculate. I'm going to click overview right here. I didn't make any changes. And then once it is finished calculating your portfolio and you go ahead and open it, you're going to come to this screen right here. So this is the quote page of the model portfolio. I like to kind of think of this as like the dashboard of a model portfolio, since it has a bunch of different high-level data, including some return information. It gives you just a broad overview of a few different statistics, as you can see, which you are fully able to customize, as well as a brief overview of the holdings, risk metrics, everything like that. And then you're actually able to dive a bit further into this with these different tabs up here. So I do want to highlight a few of our more popular tabs, as well as a few updates we have made in the past few weeks and months to provide more data to our users. So a pretty popular one is allocation. So you're able to break this down by type. You can break it down by region as well, and even get even more information by seeing, okay, what specific countries does it have allocation to? And then you can even look at like the bonds and market cap and stock sector and everything like that. So this is really good just to kind of get a general overview of where everything is at. And then within the holdings tab, so in here, we have a categorize section now. So what's cool about this is if it opens, once it loads, it's going to categorize the holdings by a few, you get a few different options to categorize your holdings. So the first being broad asset class. And as you can see, it will pull in a few different key stats, performance and risk metrics. You're able to export this. You're also able to change the way you group them. You can choose, the fund category, equity style, or even the sector, and it will just go ahead and group those into different categories. So this is something that's a little bit newer. I also want to touch on one of our newer features from the holdings overlap. So if I head here, we now have all holdings available, which is great. We're not limited to top 25. And then you can actually see, if I look at Ford right here and I see, okay, that's 25% of my portfolio, where is that coming from? If I click on this plus arrow right here, I can see the securities that Ford is being held. So of course, I just have the stock Ford, and then I can see that there's also Ford is being held in this fund as well, this Schwab fund. So I'm able to see, where these holdings are getting their weightings from. And then lastly, the stress test is a newer feature as well. And then we've actually updated it this morning to be able to include a comparison security. So the stress test right here is just going to go over a few different time periods in the economy that were somewhat of a struggling time. So we have like coronavirus, inflation, and you're able to look at it against the benchmark, and then you can also search for a different security, a different model portfolio you can put in here as well. And then you're also able to export this to a PDF if you would like to print it to show a client. So a few different new features that we're really excited that we're able to start offering to YCharts users. So from here, great, you have the portfolio. What else can you do with it? What I like to do instead of manually going into the comp tables or the time series is I like using this quick flows feature right here. It's this blue tab. Sometimes people can forget about it, but what I like doing on here is if you just enter the portfolio ticker symbol or name like I've done right here, you're able to view a bunch of different you can view the info breakdown. If I wanted to view like the trailing returns, but I didn't want to build that out in a comp table, just to save time, if I click on the holdings trailing returns right here, it's going to populate all of these different metrics. And then it's also going to populate, it's taking a second or two here, the portfolio itself, as well as all of its holdings. So if I just scroll down here, I'm able to see all of these different metrics and how my portfolio holdings are doing in comparison to each other, as well as in comparison to the portfolio itself. So if I'm looking at, let's say, the year-to-date total returns and everything looks pretty good except for this fund right here is doing pretty poorly in comparison to the other holdings. One great thing about this is if I would like to run a hypothetical portfolio to see, okay, what would the returns look like if I switch this out for a different fund that maybe had better performance, it's really easy to do that straight from the comp tables tool. So if I'm looking for a similar fund or similar security, all I need to do is head back to this quick flows tab, and then I'm going to just get rid of the portfolio, and I'm just going to type in the ticker symbol or the name of that fund. And then from here, it's going to load a few different options. These options will change based on the type of security that you use. So I'm able to see now I have this section called similar securities. So I can find a few different types of similar securities based on what I'm looking for. I just want to find a similar fund. So I'm going to click right here. And it's going to start loading a fund screener. And what's awesome about this is it's going to load the securities that I have. It's going to load my security, that Kinetics fund, as well as any other ones that are similar. And it's also going to preload a few different metrics as well. So it's going to take a second or two, and then it should populate. And then a few things to note about the fund screeners, you're also able to create an alert for it. So anytime a fund drops into this filter or out, you're able to get notified. So it looks like these have gone ahead and loaded. So if I scroll down, I can see my fund that I currently have is at the top right here. And I can see category rank wise, it's not doing so hot. So I'm able to go in and look at the different category ranks of some of the other funds that are similar. and I can go in and maybe if I'm recommending to a client, I can recommend a different fund, and then it's just easy to populate. So looking at all of my different options, I see that this One Rock fund is actually doing pretty well in comparison to its peers. So if I wanted to go ahead and make a new portfolio based on that One Rock fund, switching it out from the kinetics, I can go ahead and easily do that with a few simple steps. So I'm going to go back up to model portfolios. And I'm doing this because I want to show my client, the possible returns that they could be getting if they choose to use a different fund. So if I wanted to go ahead and build out that same model portfolio, just switching out one fund for another, I don't have to go in and create brand new from scratch. I can actually just click on these three dots right here, and it will give me the option to duplicate the portfolio itself. So I've gone ahead and done that. I've gone ahead and created the brand new portfolio, and I've just switched out the security. So as you can see, similar title, just with that new fund right here. And here you can see in the holdings section itself that it has gone ahead and replaced that other one. So one more thing I want to point out on that model portfolios page is if you have updated a model portfolio on the Schwab side, all you have to do to get those new holdings in is just click on that more options, and then you can click refresh imported holdings. It will connect with Schwab, and then it will import those new holdings. So I'm here, I have my new portfolio, looks great. What can I do to compare this portfolio to the first one I made to show that this is a better portfolio with better returns? You can also go ahead and use that Quick Flows tab. So I'm going to click on Quick Flows again. Instead of single, I'm going to click comparison. So it has already loaded my two portfolios in there. Similar process to before, enter the ticker symbol, or you can enter in the portfolio name. And you can see the options. You're able to do a fundamental chart, see the performance. We have some comp table options, as well as scatter plot and time series. So you're given a few different options for comparison. All of these are really great to show a client. I'm just going to start with the performance chart right here, which is going to send me on my way to a fundamental chart. And it has loaded both of the securities right here. So I'm able to add a few different financial metrics if I liked. I am able to change the time period. So we have a few preset options up here, including 5 and 10 years. I'm also able to customize the date range specifically. So if I wanted to show a specific time period, how these two portfolios compare, I'm able to do that as well. And then there are a few different chart options that we also offer. So I like how this looks. This is something I know that I'm going to want to put in front of a client in a PDF report. So what I can actually do is I can go ahead and I can save as, and I just need to give it a name. I click save right here. It's going to save this chart, and then later I can pull this directly into a PDF report. So I see the chart, I like the chart, but I also just want to see this in a table format just to get some more data. So I can actually go down here and I'm able to open up a time series. So the time series is going to show those calendar returns. So if I just click on time series right here, it will take me to a tool similar to the comp table, and then I can see, you know, all of the annual returns. I can go in and I can switch this frequency as well as switching the metrics around. So if I wanted to see those 1 month returns, I'm able to add that as well as a few different summary stats. So from here, I have the chart that I've created. I have the proof that, you know, my one portfolio with that change is a little bit better than the one the client currently has. How do I, you know, pull this all together into a nice client-facing friendly report? So one of our newer tools that we've recently released is our report builder tool. So you are able to go in and create custom PDF reports filled with the metrics that you want your clients to see, ones that are pertinent to them. We also have some that are just preloaded templates that you can go in and edit. I'm actually going to go in and edit one of our templates just to make sure that this is exactly what I want the client to see. So if I go down here, I'm going to look for our comprehensive report, since that's going to be one of our comparison reports. And I'm just going to click on this icon right here, this edit icon. And as you can see, it's going to have all of these preloaded options loaded. From here, you're able to add, you know, your logo. You can add a custom disclosure to really make it pop. So what I want to do is I'm actually going to scroll down, and I want to go in and I want to add that fundamental chart to the report itself. So I just am going to add a new page right here. And then on the page editor, you're able to see all of the different modules that we offer. So one of our newer ones is the ability to pull in a saved fundamental chart. And if you're not familiar with this tool, it's pretty easy to use. You just simply drag and drop it here. And then it's going to allow you to import any saved charts. So I'm just going to scroll down. And then you can see it saved it, or it imported it exactly how I saved it. So I saved it with the 5-year time frame, so that's how it imported. If I added different securities like the benchmark, that would also be imported as well. So I've gone ahead and added this, and then I'm able, if I would like, to change the title if I'd want it to be a little bit more customized to the client itself. And then if I wanted to add another module, I could go in and add another module if I'd like. So going on, I did just want to touch on the fact that the disclosures themselves can be completely customizable, so they can fit whatever your compliance requirements are. And this is all something you're able to do within your account yourself. You don't have to reach out to your account manager on this. So once I'm happy with how this looks, I can go ahead and click save. And then once it has gone ahead and saved, to generate the PDF report, just click generate. You're going to be able to enter in both of the portfolios or securities that you would like to use. And then it's just going to ask you to enter a few information. And then you can choose that performance or that risk data. So you can choose it as of the latest data we have, as well as month end or quarter end. So once this report has generated, I'll just quickly go through what that looks like as far as client customizations. It'll load. There we go. Okay, so as you can see, once it loads, my logo is appearing up at the top, as well as here. And then very similar to how our modules look like on the website, we have the return info, the key stats. You're able to go in and actually edit some of the metrics that are going to be used. And then if I scroll all the way down, you'll be able to see the fund chart that I had saved and then I imported into the PDF report itself. So report builder tools, pretty powerful. You're able to build out reports a lot quicker than you used to be. So this would be like the final stage of, you've created your portfolio, you've gone ahead and are wanting to kind of show it to clients. So it's really easy to create, enter in the securities, print it out, and then have it for your client proposal meeting. So that is the demo that we have. I do see that we have a few questions in the Q&A. So if you do have any questions, you can go ahead and enter those now, and we will go through and answer them. Chris, I'm not sure if you saw any currently that are Schwab focused that you might be able to answer.
Yeah, I'll start with one of the questions was, when can I start using the Schwab integration if I'm a current TDA advisor who's using the YCharts platform? So the answer is in the next couple weeks, you'll be given access to Schwab Advisor Center. So you'll have credentials and you'll be able to go in there and essentially take a tour of Schwab Advisor Center. There won't be any holdings information, but you will be able to get in and play around with the site and take a tour. Now, once you have that access, you should be able to enroll in the integration through YCharts. But again, there's not going to be any holdings. So the integration won't actually function because there's no accounts in there to pull over as part of the integration. There's no positions. So the summary, the answer is that you can enroll in the integration as soon as you have your Schwab Advisor Center credentials, but account data won't start flowing through that integration until after Labor Day weekend, which is when all the TDA accounts will be converted to Schwab.
Awesome, thanks, Chris. I did see a question here asking if the trailing returns capture the actual past changes in the portfolio, or does it assume the same holdings and weights were held over the prior time periods? So with the model portfolio that I demoed with the integration, that is just going to assume the current holdings were the holdings at the beginning of the portfolio. So those trailing returns could possibly change if you update those current holdings. It's not going to keep track of those historical changes.
Yeah, and to add on to that from the Schwab integration perspective, there's no performance data being sent over in any of our integrations. That's all being done natively in third-party systems if the nature of the system is one where it would calculate performance.
Okay, also saw one asking about custom benchmarks. So having a blended benchmark of like a 60-40, 70-30. So yes, that is something that you are able to do. Let me actually pull up. If you head to the model portfolio, you can actually go ahead, if you click create right here and new from template, we actually have those types of benchmarks built out. You just have to go ahead and create it. And then in the editor tool itself, you would just switch that benchmark out from the S&P 500 default to the one that you have created here. So yes, you can use custom benchmarks when creating the model portfolios. Is it possible to create a portfolio in YCharts and upload it to Schwab? Not currently available. Definitely something, maybe down the line, but right now not available. How should we treat bonds that are not recognized by YCharts? Best way to do that would be to find a bond fund.
And add on to that, if the bond fund is one that's available on Schwab and you can actually see it in the holdings on Schwab Advisor Center, it will actually come over in the integration.
Someone asked, can users combine their portfolios into a master portfolio? So the answer to this is yes. When creating that master portfolio, instead of, let me open it real quick. So instead of putting, a fund or a security in here, you would actually just type in the name of the portfolio and then assign it a weight. So you're able to put all of, your portfolios into one giant one and then see the information there.
And any grouping that's done in Schwab Advisor Center using the group feature, that is not carried over into the integration. So if you've set up some groups when you are working in Schwab Advisor Center grouping accounts, those particular groupings will not transfer over in the integrations.
Checking to see if there are any more questions.
And actually, Lauren, while you're doing that, I'll just add one more thing about grouping. And I saw in that question, master accounts was in, or master was in quotes. So our integrations are based off of the user's permissions. So when a particular user enrolls an integration in a third-party system, that user and which accounts they have access to is going to flow through to the integration. So in other words, they won't be seeing data for all their firm's accounts if they don't have access to all their firm's accounts. So, from a security standpoint, or if you're concerned about your users seeing accounts that they don't have access to, just know that third-party integrations are based off of the user's security permissions within Schwab Advisor Center.
Awesome. I saw a question that was asking to just quickly show how I found, the better security. So I'll just walk through that really quick. All I did was, let me get out of this, just head to quick flows and then under single, let me just enter in this right here. If I wanted to find a similar fund, I would just click on here and it would take me to a fund screener. And from there, I can see what, similar securities have the best outcomes.
Lauren, I see a question saying that I mentioned the Schwab merger, or really it's an acquisition. It says, if we have accounts directly at Schwab currently, will we be able to see those accounts through the integration? And yes, definitely. So if the accounts are Schwab accounts now, you can most certainly use the integration in YCharts, and those accounts will appear. Then if you plan on bringing TD Ameritrade accounts over and those get converted to Schwab, what will happen is right alongside the existing Schwab accounts that you can see after Labor Day, you'll have the TD Ameritrade accounts incorporated into that group of accounts. And note that the TD Ameritrade accounts will receive new account numbers. TDA uses a 9-digit format. We use an 8-digit format. So there will be a conversion of account numbers.
Awesome. I see a question, general question, just asking about securities in the YCharts database. We will have securities that are focused on US and Canada securities. So anything that is listed on one of those exchanges, we will have. And then I see one great question asking about how does YCharts handle holdings it doesn't have data for, so like individual bonds, foreign stocks, when it comes to the portfolio analysis function. So typically in this case, we recommend finding those proxy, ETFs, finding a bond fund. We're also able to create a custom security of the returns or the level of, that individual bond or that stock or whatnot. So we're able to pull in information, some baseline, return information that way. That would be the best way to go about making sure that those individual holdings are still included in the overall portfolio. And then someone asked about the report builder. For the fundamental chart, if I had it saved, so I had it saved as a 5-year, are they able to, in the report builder, quickly go ahead and change it to a 3-year version? So not currently. I do believe that's something our product team is looking into, but in order to change, the time period or the, metrics being used, you would have to open up the fundamental chart, make your changes, save, and then go back into the report builder to import it from there. But definitely something that we're looking at streamlining down the line. And then I see a question. Schwab portfolio values based on historical actual account values or the value of the current holdings on past dates. So when you import your Schwab portfolio, it is going to use the current data. So it's not going to necessarily pull in like that historical pricing data from maybe when you acquired the security. It's just going to pull it in as of the previous market day's close. Other questions I see, expense ratio for an investment within a model portfolio. Definitely something you can do in the comp tables. So what you would just want to do for that is pull in the holdings. Let me show that real quick. So you're able then to pull in whatever the expense ratio is. So you can see for the individual holdings. Another question about historical performance with the Schwab integration. So we are just going to assume it's going to be a hypothetical. So it's not necessarily going to have all those historical additions to a portfolio or funds that maybe were sold off. It is just going to be based on the current holdings. Definitely recommend checking out the Schwab website. As far as any like specific high level questions you have, definitely feel free to reach out to your account manager. If you are not a YCharts subscriber, we have the hello@YCharts email address that you can reach out to us at, as well as if you're on trial with us, using that chat function as well, we'll get you a response pretty quickly. So we are going to end it here. If you have any other questions, like I mentioned, please reach out to your account manager, and thank you all for joining us today.